You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Welcome everybody to the Four Corners, brought to you by the Official Wrestling Museum. We are your hosts. I am Angel, and I'm joined by the Official Wrestling Museum's Hall of Famers,
Low Life,
Sergeant Stryker.
and we are here. He is back from his promotional week, and he thought he was going to have a day off, but they're like, "Hey, we need you in the studio now." I think they lied and said we weren't going to be here to get you here.
No sleep for me.
No sleep for you.
me.
And you're getting back to get on the road and stuff, which is great, and we appreciate you for that. This is going to be a pretty interesting show. We're going to talk about it in a second for you guys. We have a QR code. Do your thing. Scan it. Please fill it out for National Pro Wrestling Day. It's totally free. It takes you not even 30 seconds to do. And one more time, this 28th of April, this Sunday, Fenway Park. We're going to be hitting balls? No. We're going to be eating hot dogs? Possibly. But I can guarantee we're going to be walking. What's it all about?
They are going to have good food there, guaranteed. They did last year, but we will be
There's no hot dog.
participating in the Walk for Epilepsy, put on by the Epilepsy Foundation in New England. It's a great cause, very near and dear to my heart. My wife passed from SUDEP, which is sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. So, again, last year was the first year I ever went to one. Didn't know what to expect, walked out of there and said, I don't know if I'll ever miss another one. It was just such an emotional high, and you meeting people, seeing people that I have met, maybe just through conferences and stuff. And it was a really, I don't want to say great time, but it was a great time.
You know, in my career, we've talked about this in free preview of our careers. 25 years basically in the business, each of us, and we did a lot of charity events, and I was a part of a bunch of different walks and stuff. But this one here is special because it has that personal tie. So to say I'm looking forward to going out and walking, for as long as we're going to be walking for is something great. If you guys want more information, theofficialwrestlingmuseum.com, right on the homepage. There's links that you can go get more information about this great cause and the fundraising they're doing, the background of what's going on, and give you some enlightenment, and also the team that we're supporting. And if you can't make it there, but you still want to give and help, and you can just reach out to them and make a donation, or you can join the team by being a virtual walker. And
Zatara, Zatara is kind of an all-star for the Epilepsy Foundation. Everyone knows who she is. I mean, they have a cool thing they have is they have, even there, they'll have a remembrance wall and her picture's there with
that is awesome.
Some other people that passed, unfortunately.
That is great.
Yeah.
I truly hope that you guys would consider coming out, and if not, be a virtual walker. And if you can't do it this time, that's perfectly okay. We're going to definitely be a part of this moving forward for sure.
And I know, real quick, this is a cause. Sometimes you donate things. You don't know where that money is going. It could be going to someone sitting at a desk somewhere. I know firsthand this money that you donate goes to great causes and personal needs. I know firsthand. So,
yeah, that's something amazing. So today on the Four Corners, why don't you give a little background on this show? I know this is, I think it's like the 5th show that we've done so far. So it's out, but for anybody that's new that's just catching on, wait, there's a new show? Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
So the Four Corners is our show where, a lot of people when they talk about what's your favorite this, your favorite that, you usually say, what's your top 5 this, your top 5 that. So we wanted to come up with the idea of 4 as opposed to 5 because it makes you think a little more, a little harder. You got to eliminate one of those items. But at the same time, hey, there's 4 corners to the ring. Okay, for whatever subject we're picking, I'm going to throw this into the corner. Does it necessarily mean it's your favorite? No. It's just something, for example, if you were going to talk about your 4 favorite pairs of socks. Well, I don't like this pair of socks. I'm putting this in the corner. It's just something you want to highlight, something you want to talk about. So it's not necessarily the best 4.
Yeah.
And as you decide what is getting thrown into the corner, you will explain if it is your favorite or least favorite or why. But it's what you want in the corner. And at the end, depending on time, now we got 3 people instead of 2. We usually try to tie all ours together and make one ring. You know, each, whatever we pick, put those in the corner and make it decisive 4 corners.
Yeah.
For some reason, it usually works out that way anyways.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of
We have
doubles.
a lot of
and-
similarities.
Yeah, and I got a feeling this particular show,
Yeah.
we're talking about cruiserweights, lightweights in the wrestling business. I kind of feeling that there might be 1, 2, or maybe all 4s that we all agree upon. But that's just
definitely
that's just what happens
I know at
with
least
our
2.
minds. So I'm gonna. Which one wants to start the 4?
Let's have Striker
Yeah.
go first. And I already, if he's picking the guy, I will second that.
Well, I'm going to kind of go off the rails here. I
Okay.
know you're
Ooh,
expecting me
off
to
the
go.
rails.
I know who you go.
The guy
we
is
know.
going to get picked.
Right.
But I'm going to go with Dean Malenko.
No, that's who I thought you were going to pick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dean Malenko
Yeah.
to me is probably one of the best technicians I've ever seen. The guy is just pure gold when he's in the ring.
Ring work second
He's
to
just
none.
second
Yeah.
to none.
Maybe
he was
not-
ranked number
yeah.
1 in the world not for no reason.
In
He was
97,
there
yeah.
because he earned it.
I don't
Need
think
a
you
little
can-
more
yeah.
charisma, but his in-ring
Right.
work just
I think in those early days of the WCW Cruiserweight division, Dean Malenko, no, he wasn't the first champ. He was the second. But without him adding that credibility, that
Yeah.
legitimacy to the Cruiserweight division, that he was, like when you think of Cruiserweight, there's 2 guys I think of. He's one of them. So
Yeah, absolutely.
he also was on.
we'll get to the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's in
definitely.
he's in one of my corners.
Yeah, and one thing with him too is he had no emotion, so you were just locked
The Iceman.
into what he did, and you believed everything he did. And he's one of mine. So they're over
He's
there
already
shaking their
been-
heads like, man, we have
Yeah.
a format. We want you guys to talk, then build
But
the
you know
4
what?
corners. But here they
We
go
have-
building it already.
We have plenty
But
of.
it's
If we finish it quick, because we all agree, there's plenty of time
We have a
for
lot to talk about. Don't worry.
honorable
about it.
mentions. You know.
Yeah. So definitely Demo Malenko.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you want to go with a site? We will let
So I'm gonna, you know what? Why don't let's make them a little more upset because I think you guys are gonna be on the same page as me. You have to mention him, Rey Mysterio.
He's in.
There it is.
Okay?
I mean,
you have to.
I think when you
That's
talk
who
about the
wanted number 2
cruiser,
for me.
I think when
absolutely.
when you talk about cruiserweights and you talk about the cruiserweight division, Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
If you picked Rey over Dean, okay. If you picked Dean over Rey, but their matches were crucial and
Absolutely.
2 different styles: aerial, ground game, technician. But yeah, without a doubt, Rey Mysterio is still different to this day. He's not the same what he used to be. How can you be with all the knee surgeries
Yep.
and stuff? But on those matches, that Great American Bat, like they
Unbelievable.
were,
Unbelievable.
yeah. And Ray, for a masked guy, he's still one of the only masked guys I feel that you can draw emotion from him.
Yep.
But yeah, without a doubt, Rey Mysterio is in one of my
Absolutely.
corners.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Sorry, guys.
For me, 1 and 2.
That's what we do.
We'll get to 3 probably when you start when you pick
Yeah,
your guy.
probably.
So maybe so for me now, I'm
He's
gonna
gonna think. He's gonna think.
No. I have it.
Right.
But I am curious if he will be in one of your corners.
Okay.
So when you think of the cruiserweight division, it's mostly WCW because WWF, WWE really. I mean, I know they came on with the light heavyweight division,
They dropped the ball.
and they never they never really promoted it too well. They never were into the smaller guys. But there was a time where they had a few, and actually this guy what's the word there? He came before. He came before. He came before the light heavyweight division and the cruiserweight division. Actually, him and Jerry Lynn were 2 of the guys that were kind of, if you want to call him the grandfather of that style. There's other guys, but these 2 guys really started to turn it.
And he's going Andre the Giant.
I think so too.
Well, X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid, 6.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
now before
All right.
he ended up hurting his neck in WCW, really changed his game. But beforehand, he was one of the guys who kind of put that style on the map in the early '90s, mid '90s.
Okay,
go
I
up
didn't.
top.
Yeah,
I didn't
thought
think
you,
he
I
might
thought
be
you
in
were
here.
going with a way I was going to go with
Yeah.
one, and I'm like, they're gonna really kill us.
One of the two of us is going to go there, so
Yeah.
we already know who number 3 is.
Yeah.
So yeah, when he was 1-2-3 Kid, really a standout there. Again,
Lightning Kid.
Yeah, Lightning Kid. What the
Came into his
1-2-3
own as
Kid,
X-Pac.
Duck Kid, all those kids. When he first went over a 6, he was still doing that light heavyweight style. Ended up hurting his neck, and then kind of changed his style. Wasn't really, he was still known as a light heavyweight, but really wasn't that same style.
Right.
But that is he's going into my third corner.
He's that's
Oh, we got
good
the
pick.
wow, we're already that
So,
far through.
yeah, we already got two corners,
That's probably
so-
why you guys want the format like that, but we can't help it.
Yeah, so now you'll be on your third corner now.
I'm going to be on my third
Wow, that's
corner,
gonna be-
which is going to be probably one of his
Yeah.
next picks. You can't have Dean Malenko, you can't have Rey Mysterio Jr. without Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. I was curious
So-
if he was going to make it.
You can't, I mean, the showmanship, there's just so much with Eddie Guerrero. You felt invested. We've met him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're invested every time he gets in the ring. Like, even when he's throwing the belt at somebody, making like he got hit, throwing a chair at somebody, making like he got hit.
One of those rare guys
Insane.
that could go from the cruiserweight division to
The
the
heavyweight
heavyweight
division.
division.
Yeah,
Not
it
even
was
just
him.
mid-card, mid-level, like U.S. title.
event.
That's why I was curious if he was going to make it, only for the fact of
How he ended his
spent
career.
so he got out of the cruiserweight division,
Yeah.
won the TV title, he won the U.S. title, ended up winning the heavyweight
Just how
title.
you talked about the matches with Dean Malenko and Ray, the Ray and Eddie matches were
Right.
phenomenal.
ECW feud carried into WCW. You knew Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero, storyline wise, hated each other, and it was you couldn't find a bad match between them. So
So how you describe how would we pick these guys? And we got the email a few days ago what
I
this
know who
team
he
was.
wants to pick.
Yeah. Eddie was definitely one of the guys. And I'm pretty sure when we put everything together, he's going to be one of the corners. Okay? It's very hard not to. But I said, I want to try to think a little outside the box. I want to try to think of other people that may not make the list, but was definitely really good in these time frames of what these two titles that we have for this show, the cruiserweights to lightweights. So seeing that we've been doing a lot with
man,
WCW.
don't tell me who you're picking.
I'm going to say Juventud Guerrera.
Okay,
Okay.
I could.
He was somebody that, to me, was like a late bloomer.
He's no Viano, but he's
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10, or 85.
Yeah.
But he definitely delivered.
Yeah.
And he made you invested. And then when he lost the match, it was kind of like he was reborn.
When he lost the mask. He was-
Yeah. And it was just, I don't know, there was something about
gave him
that
an
made
identity.
you
Yeah.
want to
Juventud
keep
was
investing
right.
and keep going and going. This time with WWE, to me, wasn't too. I think they made a joke of
Well, they were the mix of cools,
psychosis and super crazy. They made a joke out of them.
Yeah.
And they really didn't have people at that time frame that could really work them.
Right. The thing here in America with the masks is that we don't relate to that.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of guys, like I mentioned with Rey Mysterio, he can emote with that mask. Kane can emote with that mask. Juventud can't. Like certain guys can't. And in Mexico, it's
That's
there's
their
no
persona.
the psychology
Yeah.
is out the window. It's all it's all
all-
the
yeah.
performance, and it's just different. So when he lost the mask, like you said, that added so much. I'm not going to say it added so much depth to him, but it made him more like, okay, now I can become, like you said, invested in him.
Yeah.
So no, he's not in one of my corners, but he's for me, he was definitely an honorable mention at least. It's hard. Here's where we talk about. Here's where we talk about only 4 corners, and it's like I have 2 guys I really like in the
Right.
cruiserweight division, and 3 actually, and I can only name 1, and it's like, which one am I going to go with? And then I try to think, okay, is someone going to mention this other guy?
Well, that's where I was with the Juventud.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if somebody, they might.
Now, you've only
but
done
I
3,
knew-
right? You guys
I've
have only done 3?
But I knew one of you guys would mention Eddie.
He was definitely, for
Eddie's
me,
a
honorable
no-brainer.
mention.
Yeah.
He was honorable mention, but again, only because of him getting out of the cruiserweight division. He's definitely, like you said, probably going to be in the 4 corners at the end. So it's like I got these 3 guys in my head, and which one do I want to pick? I think that one of them might be picked already, And this one, I'm going to go with, there's so many, but I'm going to go with Jushin Thunder Liger. And
Yeah, you were always a Liger fan.
yeah,
All right.
Another guy, early 90s, that style, he came over to America. He stuck out his look, based off the comic book character over in Japan. Just so influential in that style. Again, there's other guys I really wanted to pick, but I think when you think of the Cruiserweight division, he's another guy that I think really should have probably been in the Cruiserweight division more. They didn't use him too much for the Cruiserweight division, but Liger, I'm picking for my fourth corner.
Okay.
But can't wait to talk about throwing my honorable mentions out there.
Yeah, because there's a list of them.
Well, I'm gonna throw my last one out. I think Dino's gonna pick the guy I want to say, but I'm gonna go with a different guy.
It does it all the time.
So it's like the guy I'm gonna pick.
Slaughter.
He was a little bit bigger. I kind of like the dark stuff, so I'm gonna throw out La Parka.
Wow. And
Okay.
now,
I just
not
Mr.
your
Chairman.
average
it's just
cruiserweight.
the look.
Yeah.
It's just
Not your average cruiserweight, because I would never put him in that
Exactly.
division, but they did.
I love the look.
Now, see,
and that's
I
what
would
got
not
for
have
me
thought
was
La
his
Parka
look.
would have been in the corner.
He would be my honorable mention. He was one because there was three that I wanted as an honorable mention, and he was I say four because of Eddie, because I wasn't going to include him, but I
Right.
knew he would be talked about.
La Parka would be-
La Parka was one that I wanted.
He would be an honorable mention for me for the fact of, because he was so big, he really wasn't
Right.
a cruiserweight,
Well, what got it for me is basically the look. For me,
Oh,
I'm
the
more into
chairman,
horror
yeah.
look type of thing. I like.
Manson, he was a great
He was
character.
a
don't
great
you?
He was.
character.
He definitely
He was
was.
a good wrestler.
All right. So let's hear
So,
let's hear the
let's see
final
let's see if he
official
goes
corner
there.
man here.
So
See if he does
I'm going with somebody that I don't know if you guys will agree with.
He's going there.
I don't know.
think
And we're looking at the two titles, cruiserweights, lightweight. So I wanted to pick somebody with the lightweight title.
I think we
And
might be thinking of the same guy.
I
He's
want.
gonna go a different way.
I don't know.
We'll see.
And some might stop and say, I don't know too much the lightweight, cruiserweight, but close. But a lot of the house shows, he did a lot of the cruiserweight flipping and stuff on TV. He really didn't do that much, but he really brought the lightweight division to life for WWE, Taka Michinoku.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm not upset with that pick. I was like, okay, I wanted Taka to get picked because I
Okay.
really did like him. I thought he was going Gilbert.
Oh,
That's
I did
for
too.
sure.
I
He's
thought
Hall
so
of
too.
Famer.
Okay.
He is about the.
Taka, yes, I think he was exciting. Sasuke was another guy. Great Sasuke was another guy who was like an honorable mention. And when WWE wanted to do that light heavyweight division, they wanted to build it around Great Sasuke. They brought in Taka and Sasuke. It ended up not working out. They went
Right.
with Taka, and I think Taka was.
Taka was the better pick.
Yeah, I think he was the better pick out of the two.
Yeah.
He was exciting, and he actually stuck around for a while. But I'm not upset with that pick. I think he had a great theme song too. But
Yeah.
I thought Taka, he's still going today, a little bit. So Taka's not a bad pick.
So now you did four, right?
I got 4.
I got four. What's your
Well,
four?
I got the 4.
Who's your four?
Yeah, I said who? I said Demon Malenko, Rey Mysterio,
Juice Thunder Lightner.
and X-Pac.
And
Six
X-Pac,
Pac.
yep. So he did
So we
four.
got our 4.
How do we get all the? How do we?
I
So
don't know.
How
so
did
we,
that happen? Because we were going this way. So how?
yeah, but because I agreed with the first two.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's how it went. Okay.
So already the
So
first two is Demon Malenko. He's
Yep.
going into a corner. Rey Mysterio.
It's in the corner.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero.
I would say
Has
Eddie
to be
Guerrero
Eddie.
is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Even though
think those 3 are
yeah.
no-brainers.
Even though he wasn't one of my picks, as I said, he's going in the corner because
So
I think.
we got those three for
Yeah.
sure.
So-
There's no questions asked.
So our real choices. I don't think La Parka.
I don't
makes
think
a
La Parka.
corner.
No.
La Parka's just a personal favorite for me.
Okay.
I think it boils down to, honestly, because I know I'm just such a big Liger fan, and that's more overseas. I watch a lot of Japan stuff. Honestly, I think the fourth corner boils down to X-Pac, 1-2-3 Kid, whatever you want to call him, and Taka Michinoku. And if I'm picking, I'm going to
That's
go
interesting. 'cause
with.
I would say Juventud and
Okay.
X-Pac.
Well, add Hoovy.
Well, we got the 3. We
You
got
know
the
what I
3.
mean? Like, so
We'll
that's
workshop it.
interesting how
Right.
that is. And I really didn't think X-Pac until you really brought it to the table today on what he really was. Like back then, that he
Yeah.
was basically the lightweight
Yeah, he
division
was.
back then. he really brought it to life.
So,
It's
we'll add
gonna be
Hoovy,
difficult.
Hoovy, Taka, and X-Pac. If I had to pick one, I would, for me, now you guys will make your own pick. Hopefully we don't all pick someone different, because then we're in a bind.
Then we might have to go to. We
I
might
think-
have to bring the Parker in.
I think
then.
X-Pac,
Right.
I think
We
X-Pac,
might.
I think
Well,
X-Pac
Vigano.
makes that fourth corner because just at the time he was doing it, he stuck out. Taka, not to say Taka and Hoovy didn't, but Hoovy was also, if you wanted, Hoovy was in the line of many other cruiserweights at the time.
Yeah.
Taka, really, I think he had the better competition with him, he would have had better matches. I think X-Pac or 1, 2, 3 Kid, whatever, was more influential. I think I'm gonna go with one. Me, my pick would be 1, 2, 3 Kid, X-Pac 6 going into that fourth corner.
What do you got?
So looking at this, like when you were saying that, I was saying it would be 1, 2, 3 Kid, X-Pac, whatever way we want to call him, and
Sean Waltman, how about that?
yeah. So Hooven too, I think he's phenomenal. He can flip, he can do all that stuff. But if we're building a monument, all right, we have 3 from WCW already, and that really gets the core of cruiserweight wrestling. And he will get the core of the remaining 3 that we're discussing, and it'll be a safe core. But if you're building a monument, you want something that's going to stick out of that monument to make you talk a little bit more about it. So I think that will have to take Hoovy out of the picture. If we're looking at Taka and Pac, prior to this conversation, I would say Taka because he had to build a division and leave it on his shoulders. And he really kept that division going when it was dying.
Well, it wasn't even really born, you know.
Right, exactly. But for what you brought to the table and really sitting back here looking back, I would think by the abilities of what he was doing during a time frame that really wasn't done, I would be comfortable saying X-Pac.
Oh, so I guess I'm out either way.
He's trying to get that
Even though I was out either way, X-Pac was going to be my pick because
All right.
I'm more old school. I feel
Okay.
like you said, he's like the grandfather of it. So
well,
for me,
I
it
said,
would be
I said
X-Pac.
grandfather, but so like now, so we got the 4 corners. We got Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and
X-Pac.
X-Pac. And now again, when you think of cruiserweights, you're generally going to think of WCW. That
Yeah.
96
Yes,
to about
absolutely.
98 cruiserweight run, fantastic. Now
Uncontested.
I did say
Uncontested,
Eddie,
that
Sean Waltman was like a grandfather. I mean, truthfully though, when you talk about the grandfather of like the cruiserweight division, a lot of people might be going, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
you didn't pick Dynamite Kid or Tiger Mask."
Right,
No,
yeah.
I didn't because just
Those are high flyers.
Yeah.
And, you know, because you could even say Shawn Michaels or Maya Giannetti.
Yeah,
Those are high
there's so
flyers
many
and not
ways you could go with
cruiserweights. It's
if you want to call
Definitely
that
different.
Right, if you want to call them cruiserweights, definitely they are. I'm going to say definitely honorable mentions. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be in a corner, but these is our 4 corners.
This is us. You might have something different, and that's the great thing. You can under any videos that we have, if you want to put your 4 corners, send it to the museum social media. If we're talking honorable mentions, I did bring them up really quick, but I didn't give them the honorable mention title. Psychosis, Super Crazy.
Super Crazy, I never really viewed though as a cruiserweight, just because he was a little chunkier. Not high flyer, definitely. I wanted to say real quick, when I was battling over what three or 4 guys, the other, 2 guys, the one main one that I didn't pick because I thought one of you guys would, Chris Jericho. I thought he was
So
going to be.
he was.
What about Ultimo?
Yeah,
he
and
was the other
I
one.
was thinking
That's the
Ultimo,
one I left for
but
you, 'cause I
Jericho.
thought for sure you were going Ultimo.
I was thinking Ultimo
Dragon
a few
and
times.
Ultimo Dragon, who I love,
Right.
and there's one other guy I really want to add in there, Brian Pillman. So those are 3 guys that I mean, it's, if someone.
There's so many
If we had a
more.
4th guy sitting here and he said those 3 guys were in his corner, I would agree.
You know what? Let's if we're tossing out names, I think Alex Wright made a good cruiserweight. His problem was he was too tall.
Too tall.
And nobody could work him at that level. And they were afraid to let Ray work him at that level when they needed him to work Nash.
I have another guy, but do you have any? I don't want to say him.
I was kind of fond of Glacier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
exciting. I mean, I don't.
I wouldn't say cruiserweight.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I love the gimmick. I love the entrance gear.
I think another one, Billy
We actually
Kidman.
have some of it.
Billy
in the museum.
Kidman was
Kidman.
great. Billy Kidman was great.
Kidman.
Yeah.
And
Billy
you know,
Kimmons.
it's so hard with WWE guys. I mean, nowadays, why we probably didn't pick any nowadays is just because guys are a lot smaller now, and definitely are talented. I think
So-
it's just more fun to go with the nostalgia route. It's
I like-
harder to pick a newer guy because it's still active.
And again,
This-
the cruiserweight, you think of WCW.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
when the greatest cruiserweights all came out, in my opinion.
I actually truly enjoyed this show and how it all came and how it seemed like it was at the beginning and what it came to. Here, I like to
It was
ask a
good because
question.
we
'cause-
agreed right away and then had some
yeah,
differences. too.
exactly. If you were to label this one individual from today as a high flyer or a cruiserweight, now again, we know the clear difference. Again, fans, there is a clear difference. Ricochet, what would you name him as?
I like him as a flyer. That guy is just so athletic.
I
He's
think
insane.
if this was 1996, he'd be cruiserweight. I think him and Ospreay both would be.
Ospreay's another
cruiserweight.
guy who's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
But I could see where if you said he's just a high flyer. But you know what? I've seen him do some groundwork and stuff also.
Oh, yeah,
Also like
absolutely.
an Evan Bourne, a Matt Seidel, a cruiserweight
Evan
because
Bourne,
he does
yeah,
a lot
he's
of ground
another,
stuff too.
another great mention.
I think we could do a whole show about
On just cruiserweights.
on
We really
today's
could.
current cruiserweights and say
Right.
who are your four corners of today's.
You know what? Maybe
I'd still pick
so. Off the ropes, we do a special team each week. Maybe we should do an off the ropes in the future about the fine line between a cruiserweight and a high flyer, so we can pass that information on and then really crack into why cruiserweights, not only why they're so big in Mexico, but why it's so important to professional wrestling as a whole.
Right, because just because you do a moonsault doesn't make you a cruiserweight.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's Ivar. He does it all day long, perfectly done. Ain't no cruiserweight.
Are you sure?
I don't know. We'll ask him.
Big Bronson Reed, you know.
Surprised to
he's
hear
pretty
that.
agile.
Surprised to hear that none of the Villanos made it though.
I know.
I
1,
love
2,
my
3, 4,
Villanos,
18,
but
19, 20.
We can't have them in all four
No.
corners.
Make sure you guys check out Free Per View, though. We have part 2 coming with the three of us, and we actually ended it, so there's no other part, surprisingly. We don't know how we did it. Off the ropes, make sure you check it out. We talk about the Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Big Giant Feud, WrestleMania. Go Figures Are Us. We got the Pops this week. And Hot Tag, we answer your questions because, well, your questions, yeah, I tagged myself, and that's okay. That's me. But without your questions, we can do what we do best and answer them. We thank you guys so much for supporting everything that we do. We hope you guys keep tuning in. The QR code, please scan it. Help us out with that. Check out the official Wrestling Museums for all your wrestling needs and for the 28th. And you know what they say.
Come back next week and see what we throw into the corner.
I guess we're going with it.
Works for me.
It's a work in progress.
Why not? It's some work.